to all of you. In our previous session, we have completed up till the difference between call by value and call by reference. One more program we have performed with the return by reference. In our today's session, we are going to cover two topics, that is inline function and default argument. So before starting our inline topic, I would like to give one definition to you people. Based on that, first of all, you need to perform the program. First of all, you need to write a program to input two values and perform addition. This program you need to perform using with argument with return value, right? So let me develop this program first. You can pause the video and you can perform the given program in the journal, in the rough book, if you wish to perform, as include conio.h. Now let me declare the function addition, right? For that, see over here I need to return the value, and addition of two numbers will return integer value only. So I am going to take a return type integer, then function name add, then because I need to require two values addition, so I have taken two variables, that is, let me take integer a comma integer b, and let me remove the semicolon over here because I am going to declare the define the function over here only, and I am going to put a return statement a plus b, right? This statement I am going to write. Now void main, over here integer a equals to 10, b equals to 20, and one more variable I need to define, that is answer. Why answer? Because see over here we have written the value, right? So function call would be like such that it will return the value and we need to store it into the integer variable. Why we have taken answer as an integer? Because addition function will return the integer value, right? And now at last I am going to print \n addition is and the variable answer, and at last let us include getch into the program. Let me save the given program by p60 because this is the program number 60, right? So p60.c++, let us run the given code. The answer would be 30. This is the simple program which has been performed by us in the while we have understand in the video of UDF, right? In that video we have covered this point. Now our today's topic, right, that is called, we need to perform this program, that is okay, but example of inline function, that is our today's topic, right? So there is no major changes in the program. You just need to keep whole programs as it is. Just put inline keyword before the UDF you have written. Let me repeat once again. You need to put just the inline keyword before whatever the UDF you have developed. Now what is the use of inline? See over here the frequent function call is there, right? When you call this function many number of time, at that time, see this is the internal process, we are not able to see the given process, right? We just need to predict or assume whatever the process would be. So what is the purpose of inline? When you call your function or UDF frequently, at that time you might get the speed at a less speed, right? So in such cases inline function is used. Using inline, it stores the whole function inside the memory of CPU. So when you call such kind of function, at that time it will automatically call such kind of UDF and directly it calls from the memory. So you will get the speed very fast, right? But we are writing one line code inside the function, so we will not see the major difference between this function call, right? So we just need to develop whatever the UDF we want to develop, and before that UDF you just need to put the inline keyword. Using this inline keyword you can get the speed and you can get function which is stored inside the memory. So from that memory, instead of recalling function again and again, you will get less, it consumes more time, right? And there is a less speed of function call. To remove such kind of problem, you are having a keyword inline, right? Let me take one new example regarding the inline demonstration, in which first of all let us take input number from the keyboard and perform square of that number. And inline function is applied to UDF only, right? So for the inline demonstration you just need to create a UDF as include ponyo dot h, then void, let me take one square. See which kind of UDF we have declared over here. This is no return with argument. With argument no return function we have developed over here. So \n. I hope you have cleared the concept of UDF. Then and then only you are able to understand the given code, right? See over here, you can take one variable inside the function, SQ variable, and in SQ you can put the formula and you can print SQ over here. But I don't want to take a variable, so I have put it in directly in the cout statement. Now it's time to use void main clear screen and get ch. Over here I need to declare number variable, need to input it from the keyboard, that's why enter value for number, then store it into the number variable. Now it's time for the function call, but this function does not return value, that's why I can call it by directly. Otherwise I need to take one variable and I need to store the whatever the value which is written by the square function, I need to store it into the variable. But right now my function UDF does not return any value, that's why I have called this function directly. Now let us save this program by pressing F2 key, program number 61. Now let us run the given code. Let me input number 5, the square is 25. But yes, suppose I want to increase the speed of execution of this program, I just need to put inline before declaring my UDF. You will not get much result over here because see, whatever the lines we have written, it is less, right? But when in the real time, when there is when you are working as a developer or there is a program development in the field only, at that time you will get the much benefit regarding the inline. So this is both the programs which are related with the inline function 2. So whatever UDF you can create, you just need to create that UDF, you need to develop your program based on the UDF, and you just need to apply the keyword inline before the UDF. This is the demonstration regarding the inline function, right? two major things it provides. Number one, it directly load from the memory. So if frequent function call is there, at that time you can create such type of function using inline function, so that you can get a good speed and it consumes less time while the execution of program. Let me take one new program. I want to show the inline concept is completed over here. Now it's time to show demonstration regarding the example of default arguments. Is include iostream .h has include conio.h void main. Let me create the structure first, then we are going to implement the whole program. Get ch. Now let me create one UDF called simple interest. See, I want to create UDF for calculating simple interest, but the function I want to use, that is with argument with return value, right? So for that, see, UDF calculating simple interest requires the return type float, because it may get answer in the fraction part. So I have declared, or I have declared return type using float. The UDF name would be simple interest, that is SI. Then three variables I need to declare, that is float P, float R and float N. Then just return statement I need to perform P into R into N divided by 100. That is the formula portion which we have directly applied. Otherwise you can take one float variable over here, you can apply formula in the that float variable, and you can return that variable using return statement. Now it's time for the function call over here. For that we need to pass P, R and the value of N, and one more variable I need to declare, that is answer. Cout, enter value for P, cin P, cout, enter value for R, cin R, cout, enter value for N. Right now I am developing normal UDF, right? I have not applied the concept over here, that is default argument. Before showing default argument, I am just going to develop the UDF, then we will apply the changes. Let me call answer equals to SI, that is name of our function, P, R, N, and then let me print the answer \n simple interest is, and the variable answer, right? Let me save the given code P62. Now see over here what type of UDF we have created. We have decided the return type float. Over here you can see answer variable we have taken, that is data type float. Why? Because our return type of the function would be of float, and we have taken float data type over here because the answer may come in the point or fraction part. All the variables remaining P, R and N also we have taken as a float. You can take this three variable as integer. When you declare this three variable as an integer, at that time you need to take P, R and N integer over here, but right now I have taken all the variable as a float variable. One more thing, you can apply changes over here, that one variable you need to take for the calculating part, that variable you can take using float data type, and you can return that variable to the function, but right now I have applied directly the formula with the return function. So it will return the calculations based on the values which we have passed using UDF, P, R and N. Now this is the function with argument with return value. See, return statement is over here. Here we have not used void. Instead of void we have used data type, and over here instead of directly calling function we have used the name of the variable, because our function may return the value to the void main. So we are going to store that value in the answer variable, and void main will print the answer variable, that is simple interest is answer, right? And we are going to input 3 values. This is the with argument with return value. Now let us let us run the given code. I am going to input 1000 into P, 10 into R and 2 into N. Based on that it returns me the result 200, right? Now suppose if I don't want to pass argument from the void main, that means I don't want to take this third variable, so I am going to remove this particular values, right? I am not going to input. See, I have declared my float SI function over here with 3 arguments, right? But I called that function using 2 arguments. At that time it will generate error. Why? Because too few parameters to function call. Why? Because while the declaration of the function you have taken 3 variables in the function declaration, but while you call the function at that time you have passed 2 values only. So for that you are having the concept of default argument. What is the default argument? When you are declaring the function, at that time you just need to pass the default value to the function, right? I have declared n equals to 5 over here, right? So now what it does, when I am going to call my function using 2 values, even though it allows me, because I have passed the default value of variable n, that means let me run the given code. I have passed 1000 and 10, it will return me the 500. Why? What is the reason? Because I have, see over here we have declared the function SI with 3 variables, right? So from void main, when I call this function, at that time I need to pass 3 values of a variable. That is the compulsory thing I need to perform. But right now I am passing only 2 values of a variable, even though it allows me. Why? Because I have passed default value of the third variable. But there is a rule while you are passing default argument, and rule is such, you need to pass default value from this way to this way. That means if I want to pass the default value of R, be clear about this. Let me repeat once again. There is a rule to pass the values to the default argument. Suppose I want to pass the default value to the R, at that time it is compulsory to pass the default value of variable n. You cannot write like this, float P, float R equals to 10 and float n. No, that is the incorrect way. What you need to do, you need to perform float P, float R equals to 10, float n equals to 5. In this way you can mention, but you cannot mention, or you cannot give only the value of R. You must need to give the value of n in that case, right? And what is the use of default argument? When you call the function from the void main, at that time suppose you are not passing the value of the argument, at that time it automatically considers whatever the default value you have passed. Based on that default value it will return the calculations. Now suppose See, what if I am going to pass n over here? Suppose I am going to pass the value of n over here. In that situation, what happens? See over here, I am going to pass 100, 10 and 2 here. So let me clear 2 points over here. One thing, what is the rule? To assign values to the default argument, that is you need to give the values by right to the left. That means first, once you need to give the value of r to the default argument as the default argument, at that time you compulsory need to give or assign the values to the variable n. That is the first rule which you need to remember. Number 2, that suppose you are passing value from the void main. See over here, I have passed value of n, right? Then it will calculate, it will return me the result based on whatever value I have passed from void main. Be careful regarding this, that over here I have passed 2, number of years as a 2. I have passed value n to the 2, right? So it will return me the result which is based on the void main. The default argument is only considered in the case, suppose if you are not passing the value of n. Consider the case. In the first situation, it will return me the result of default argument. See, this will call default argument and this will call the n inputted by the user, right? It will be written based on that. Suppose I am going to input 1000, 10 and going to input 2. The first output is 500. Why? Because while I am going to call the first function, at that time I have not passed the value of n. So it will automatically considers the value of n by 5 because I have called that function using 2 values only, right? In our second case, we have passed the value of n which is inputted by the user, and what user has inputted into the n, that is 2. Number of years would be 2 years, right? So based on the 2 years, it will return me the result and it returns the output by 200. The value of p and r would be same in both the cases, right? But the value of n would be changed as per the situation. In the first situation, it returns default argument. In the second situation, we have passed by the whatever the value inputted by the user. Based on that, it returns the calculation. So I hope you have cleared the concept of default argument. One more program I want to show you regarding the default argument. So after that, we are going to complete the given topic, that is example of default argument. That is the second program based on the default argument. In default argument, you just need to mug up 2 things only. Number 1, you need to assign values from right to left, and number 2, that suppose you are passing value from the void main, at that time it will return the result based on that calculation. But suppose you are not passing the value from the void main, in that situation the value which is default you have passed while declaring the function, it will return the result based on that calculation. As include ponyo.h void print line. I think this program is helpful for you people to understand the whole concept. Over here, character C equals to, I have defined, see, because we have taken character data type over here, so data would be passed using single quotation, right? This is the function with argument without return. right? This function will not return any value. I am going to take one loop over here. Integer j equals to 0, j less than I. See, j is less than I have not declared the 1 over there, right? So be careful regarding that is the I variable I have passed over here with the condition. And see out, see, now void main, in void main I have taken one variable integer I equals to 5, character C equals to single quotation asterisk sign CLR SCR get CH, print line function I have defined as a UDF. First time I am not going to call with any argument. Then cout \n, then again print line, then I have passed it with the I variable, again cout \n, println or print line I comma C, cout, no need to use \n over there because that is the last line which I want to print. Let me save the given code by p63.c++. This is the example of default argument. Now consider the situation over here. I have taken one argument as integer argument and another as a character argument, right? In that I have taken two variables over here, integer I equals to 5 and character C equals to asterisk sign over here. Now clear screen, print line function, see this will call the UDF print line, right? In that I have not passed any values, right? So it will directly consider the value of I, that is declared default is 10 and character C equals to ampersand. So it will print 10 times ampersand sign on the screen using first function, right? Then it is time for the \n code. So new line is there, again print line function will call, but this time I have passed the value of I by 5. So the value of I would be considered as a 5 because I have passed it using void main. So value of I would be 5. After that it will consider the default value of character C equals to ampersand sign, right? So 5 times it will print ampersand on the screen. Now what is our third case? Third case would be I am going to pass the value of I is 5 and character C would be star. So 5 times star would be considered. So remember one thing, through this program you just need to clear the things that suppose you are passing value from the void main, at that time it will return, it will produce the result based on the whatever value you have passed while calling the function. But suppose you are not passing values when you are calling that function, at that time it will consider the default value which has been passed by you people. See, in the first situation we have not passed the value of I as well as value of C. So it considered the default value of I would be 10 and default value of C would be a ampersand sign, right? In the second case, when we call the function print line, at that time the default value we have passed for the C is ampersand, but we have passed the value of I by the 5. So 5 times it is going to print ampersand. And in third situation we have passed both the values. We have passed I comma C. I contains 5 and character contains asterisk, that's why it print on the screen 5 times asterisk, right? So I hope you people have considered and cleared two topics of our today's session, that is default argument and inline function. The things you need to recall, or you need to keep in your mind regarding inline function is that you just need to create whatever the way UDF you want to create. You just need to create UDF in that way only, and you just need to put one keyword with that UDF, that is inline. When you use that function, inline function, at that time the speed of that function calling becomes faster, right? And the reason behind that function calling faster is that it directly loads from the memory. It is going to be stored in the memory while you call the function. So that is the benefit to put any function in the inline function. This is the first program, that is program number P60. That name you need to give in the journal. The second program, that is inline function demonstration 2, that is square function. This is the again the UDF, but it will not return value. This is with argument without return value function. Simple function you need to develop, and before the name of function you just need to put the keyword inline, and don't forget to write the output, right? The program number, this is the program number P61. Program number P62 is regarding default argument. In default argument, again two things you need to consider. Number one, while you are declaring default argument, at that time it is from right to the left. So suppose you want to assign value, default value to the P, at that time compulsory you need to assign the value of R and N, but right now I have assigned the value of N. So while you call the program, right, at that time suppose you are passing two values of the variable, even though it allows you to call the function. Why? Because we have passed the default value of the variable N. This is the program number 62, and you need to write the output regarding the default argument. And the last program of our today's session is related with the default argument 2. In this we have taken three different print line functions. Number one, we have not passed any default value, we have not passed any value from the void main. In the second function call, I have just passed one value of function I, and in the third function call I have passed both the values from void main. From this program you can learn that suppose you are passing values from the void main, then based on whatever values you have passed from void main, it will return the output based on that. But suppose you are not passing any values from the void main, at that time whatever the values you have passed with the default argument, it will consider, and based on that it will produce the output. Here we have used I, don't consider it as a 1, right? So this is the I variable. So this is more than enough for our today's session. Thank you all. Goodbye everyone.